We're going to do an example of solving a system of equations by graphing. This is one of the very first things we did in this unit, and this is definitely going to be on your test. Now, if we look at both of these equations, we'll see that there are no absolute value bars, so it's not going to be a V, they're both going to be lines. Anytime you're going to graph a line, remember, the first thing you need to do is get your equations into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So we're going to have to rearrange our equations here. So let's do the first one. We'll make that one green. So if I have 2x plus y equals 6, I would need to subtract 2x from both sides. That gives me y equals, I'm going to put the x first because that's the way the equation goes, and we're subtracting, so it's going to be negative. Now, notice this 6 here that we started with is positive, and we haven't done anything to this 6, so it's going to stay positive. On your guys' last quiz, I saw a lot of people making that a -6. It's going to stay exactly the way it is. So this is going to be our first line. If we look at this equation, we can tell from looking at it two things that's going to be important. One, the number in front of the x is going to be our slope, so that's our m. And remember, when it's not written as a fraction, that means it's over 1. I've seen a lot of people writing -2 over -2. Well, that would really be a slope of 1, and that's not going to be equal. And then b is 6, which means it's our y-intercept. Y-intercept. A lot of you guys are plotting that on the x-axis, which is not where it's supposed to be going. So just pay attention to that as you're getting ready for this test. Okay, the second equation here, let's go ahead and make this one our pink equation. It is going to be -x plus 3y equals 12. And so again, we just need to get the y by itself. We'll start by adding x to both sides. That gives me 3y equals x. The 12 is positive, so it's going to stay positive using addition. And then we have to divide by 3. Something else that I'm seeing people do is you're forgetting to divide all three things by whatever the coefficient of y is. Don't forget to divide both terms. If you don't, that's why a lot of you guys are getting your slope wrong or your y-intercept wrong, because you're doing one and not the other. Now, this is just a 1x, remember, so that means our new coefficient is 1/3, and 12 divided by 3 is 4, and it's positive, so we are going to use addition. If we take a look at our pieces on this one, we know that the slope is going to be 1/3, and the y-intercept is going to be 4. So the method we're using here is graphing, so we're going to take all of that information and put it on our graph. We have enough space, we can count by ones, we don't need to change our scale. So we're going to start with the first line that has a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of 6. Remember your axes. This one is the x-axis. This one is the y-axis. I don't know if some of you are getting those backwards or if you're just not paying attention. The y-intercept has to go on the y-axis. So the first one of +6 is going to go right here. Now our slope is -2 over 1. That means our rise is going to be down 2 and over 1. We'd get here, down 2 over 1. I would suggest you draw as many dots as you can in the graph provided, because this method for solving a system of equations relies really heavily on your accuracy when you're graphing your lines. Okay, so we'll go ahead and draw that line here. Mine's not going to be real great because I'm drawing it on my iPad. Not bad. So there's our first line. Now we're going to do the second one. So b is going to be 4. That means we go again on the y-axis and put our y-intercept. Our slope is positive 1/3, so that means we're going to go up 1 and to the right 3. And we'll do that several times. And then when we want to go the other way, we do the exact opposite. Instead of up and to the right, we can go down and to the left. So those points would end up this way. Connect those dots as carefully as you can. Using a ruler is always best. I can't do that on my iPad, so we're going to estimate here. Now, what a lot of people are forgetting is they're just stopping here. The graph itself is not your solution. The graph is your tool for finding the solution, just like a calculator or, some other sort of tool that you might use. The point where the two lines intersect represents your solution. And so what you have to make sure that you do is give me the ordered pair. A lot of times this is just going to be an estimate. That's why this method is not very reliable. This looks to me like it's at about 1 on the x, and we can say about 4.5 on the y. This is your solution. Okay, so again, the steps. You're going to put each line into slope-intercept form. You're going to graph each line. Make sure you pay attention that your y-intercept is on the vertical y-axis and that your slope, that you pay attention to positive and negative slope. Then you're going to see where the two lines cross, and that's going to be your solution. Don't forget to label that ordered pair.